The futurist Alvin Toffler argued, you've got to think about the big things while you're doing the small things so that all the small things go in the right direction. One of the biggest challenges that professional downhill and enduro racers face is having the right focus. They not only need to keep their vision focused far enough down the trail, they need to stay focused on their race plan and their goals to simply make it down the race course safely. Both my boys race at the highest level, and one of their biggest training and racing challenges is looking far enough ahead. Experience has shown that you will go where you look. So if you are focused on every root, rock, or obstacle that is directly in your path, you will hit those roots, rocks, and obstacles that will either slow you down or cause you to crash. The key is to look far enough ahead and trust your field of vision and your training to get you over what is directly in front of you while you continue to look down the trail. This visual focus is dependent upon your mental or cognitive focus, which research shows is even more important than the visual focus. Without this primary cognitive focus, the physical focus just doesn't happen. Having the right focus is equally important in our learning environment and educational systems. With the right focus, we can make the necessary improvements to our learning environments and our educational systems and prepare our learners to be the leaders of innovation that can help us improve the world. While we are talking about change, we are not calling for a complete overhaul, a major revolution, or the tearing down and rebuilding of our educational systems. We are also not calling for teachers to change or be retrained because we believe teachers are working tirelessly to prepare our students for the future. In the past century, our educational systems in North America have helped us get to the world of abundance we have today. But if we wish to have another century of success, we are suggesting that we must start to make some adjustments to help move our current system into the digital information age. The changes that we do need to make will have to start with a change in focus. Let me explain by summarizing how our system currently works and how a change of focus may be enough to bring about an even brighter future. Our current approach to education is still based on the centuries-old information transfer model, in which we start with looking at what the curriculum needs to be delivered or what standard needs to be met. The reason that I've overlapped curriculum and standards is that some organizations will start with the curriculum and others will start with the standards, and then map those standards back to the curriculum. Others will search out the curriculum that has the standards built in. Regardless, which approach you are familiar with, the initial focus is on curriculum and standards. The focus then shifts to knowledge and skills that need to be transferred or acquired by the students. What will our student need to know or what skill will they need by the end of the period of instruction is the primary focus. We also have a tendency to focus on these components individually. When we do look for context, we simply look back at the governmental standards and the approved curriculum. Because we are focused on what the student will need to know, we then consider how best to deliver the curriculum or information to the student. We validate or confirm the successful delivery of curriculum to the student through standardized testing or other forms of information regurgitation and confirmation. Variations of this model play out all across the nation. Test scores and grades determine where a student will continue along this process. Some students will continue this process through higher education and others will not. Unfortunately, the authentic context for learning, which is so important for transformative learning, is all too often reduced to the notion that this information or skill will be needed for the next course, or in the higher grade, or to get into college. Good students quickly learn how the system works and how to get the grades, so that when they get into college, they know just what to give the instructor to continue getting the grades that will get them the credential or degree that will ultimately get them some sort of a job. As we have stated earlier, variations of this model run all across North America, and it has contributed to making our society one of the most prosperous in the history of the world. There are many good things about where we are now and also many things that we need to improve. This model was established at the turn of the 20th century and it brought us from the industrial age to the information age. As we move further into the 21st century and further into the digital information age, we suggest that we need to change our focus in order to prepare our learners for the opportunities of the digital information age. We believe that all the pieces are already in place. We also agree that we need good curriculum, high standards, and must equip our learners with the knowledge and skills that will enable them to be positive members of society. But if we are to prepare our students for the real world, we need to shift our focus by stepping back far enough From just focusing on the individual pieces of this model and looking far enough ahead and looking to the real world or authentic learning opportunities to provide the context for our learners. When we look to real world authentic learning opportunities, we can not only see what knowledge and skills our learners require, but we can also see that teaching is not about delivering information to our learners. Rather, we need to help our learners grow and develop into the type of people who can take advantage of all the opportunities that arise and also deal with the challenges that they will inevitably face. This is a shift in focus from what our students need to know to who our students or who our learners can become. With this shift in focus, we can begin to recognize that authentic learning opportunities are the genuine context for learning and for giving our learners the opportunity to gain experience in solving real world challenges. Our learners' growth is related to these challenges, and the knowledge and skills and standards and curriculum are simply resources in the foreground that they can draw upon to develop innovative solutions to real world problems. The process of backward design should make more sense with this context. When you design curriculum, programs, courses, and lessons starting with a real world or authentic learning opportunity context, you are genuinely looking at who you want your learner to be. And from this context, you can identify the learning goals and outcomes that will get them to realize their potential. We argue that by focusing on creating significant learning environments in which learners are given choice, ownership, and voice through authentic learning opportunities, we can continue to change and improve the world one learner at a time. The CSLE+COVA approach helps us to not only focus far enough ahead to the most effective learning context, it can also help us to sustain our focus as we work to realize just what is involved in giving our learners choice, ownership, and voice.